Hi, everyone. Welcome to our weekly recap of Wheel of Time. We're on episode 5, Blood. Something Blood. Blood Calls Blood? I don't remember. Is it a title for episode 5? It's Blood Something Blood. Trust me.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Close enough.
Close enough.
I'll have it in about 3 seconds.
All right.
Give me
so
3.
Let me just stall for a minute and say that Natty will be joining us probably pretty soon. I'm Frank. Lauren's here and Judd. I did not point at anybody, so that's fine. This is also available in podcast form in case you'd rather just hear us stall for time instead of seeing us stall for time. And it's recorded live on the internet, I guess, Wednesday nights. We're still trying to figure out whether we're going to be doing this all the time. But so far, so good. It's Blood Something Blood. We'll move on.
Blood calls blood.
Blood calls blood.
Calls.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. It's an interesting episode. We talk a little bit like during the week, and I think most of us see it around Friday night, and we talk a little bit off and on during the week. But I'm not clear on what our consensus is about this episode, so I'm curious to hear what we think. Lauren, I'm going to go with you first. What did you've been hemming and hawing about this for about a week now?
Yeah. I needed some time to think about it. Because there are a lot of things that are different from the books, and you know how much I love the books.
Mm.
I watched it again today because that's what I do now is I watch it one time and then I watch it again the day of this while I make dinner. And it was good. I mean, it was different, but it made sense. And while I appreciated it for the show, I hope that time was spent wisely. Just because there is so much in the book, but that's fine. We know that.
So we know they condense things for this story, is what you're saying?
It's things happened in places where it didn't happen. You know, they've cut out some major character meets, but you know, maybe that's coming. We'll see. But as an episode, it was good.
Okay,
I liked it. I mean, it was very emotional, and the singing. I like the singing.
The singing kicked ass. I really enjoyed that.
So yeah, so it took me a bit, but I got there in the end.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you did eventually get around to it. Judd, what about you? What did you think of this episode?
I liked it. I liked it. No, that's it. End of story. It definitely got the people who read the books amongst my friends talking, and people who are on the fence and not sure, kind of turned that corner of like either hating it or deciding that they liked it. And yeah, it was interesting seeing friends who had strong feelings about Lan Almandoragan and him, grieving and yeah, it was interesting. It's interesting. And you can't, I had to like have a conversation with a friend of mine and then check in and be like, yeah, I can't tell you I disagree with you about this episode without telling you that what you think about grief is bullshit. So are we okay? Like, because I feel like we're not. So, and he was like, yeah, we're fine. Just go for it. Dig in. Right. And it was good, but it was interesting. I think it said interesting things about grief. I think it fleshed out things that weren't in the book. I think they're really driving home that Warder Aes Sedai relationship. Like they're really spending a lot of time on that. And
it's important. I mean, it's important, but it's important later in the books, more so. So
right.
We'll see.
Which is cool. They're planting, if depending on what they do, they're planting seeds. So that's great. I love the White Tower politics and it might have my first design element that I actually like, which was the melting of the ring.
That was cool.
That was really neat. Yeah,
that was cool. Yeah, because I other than that, I don't like the rings in the book are described as just an Ouroboros, just like a simple ring with a serpent
They're
biting
not
its
that
tail.
flashy.
Yeah, and these are kind of like weird Green Lantern rings. Like in the first couple
Yeah.
episodes, it almost made it look like the magic came from the ring. And I just didn't like the design. The simple Ouroboros design is just so classic that I don't know why you'd F with that. Anyway, I love that. I love the way that the show is giving culture to places that didn't have that much culture in the books is cool. And yeah, I'm a fan.
All these little elements of making the setting feel lived in, and just the way the characters act as if this is something that they all know, because this is the way we behave with culture, any culture or pop culture. The way we know certain things are to be taken for granted. And I think the way a lot of these characters interact, the ones who, and a big part of this is the mixture of characters that live in a particular setting and characters who are forced to visit that setting, so that you have someone to bounce things off of.
Yeah.
So you get to explain to a viewpoint character or whatever, a audience surrogate, what's going on. And it's just enough to make it feel like you're journeying through this world. And I'm super impressed. I think what I'm going to keep butting up against is people like Lauren and Judd who have read the books. Judd, I think, maybe is in the camp of do different things. That's cool. And Lauren is a little bit more in the camp of I like these books. Show me the book.
Yeah.
And
It's
haven't
hard.
read all of them. Yeah, I haven't read all of them. I read about 1 million of the 4 million words, and then I stopped. But I started reading it again, and the scene that I was very critical of last time, I can see a reading where my critical reading was wrong. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Wow.
I'm turning around. Was
I
wrong?
You're growing.
I something.
Wow.
I still think Robert Jordan has issues, and I want a website that's just like spanking references in Wheel of Time, because
wow.
the man has a fetish, and he's got
definitely
4 million words to write about it in, and it's something. Anyway, that hasn't come up on the show yet, but we can hope. And but just to say, I haven't read all of it. I've read enough to kind of get an idea where they're changing things at this point. But what were you about to say, Laura? I'm sorry, totally.
No.
cut you off.
I was just saying yet. We haven't talked about spanking yet.
Right. Plenty of time.
It's hard because as much as I love the books, and I feel like there's so much that you can pull from the books, why would you change anything? It is a different medium, so you have to, you just have to, and just hope that it stays true to the main story, and I'm sure it will. Like the land showing emotion, I appreciated that, because Land does have emotion. They talk a lot about how he doesn't have emotion. Oh, stalwart, stony man, cranky, but he has a lot of emotion there. It just comes out at random times. So I appreciated that. I don't know why that is a sticking point for people.
Why it's a chip on people's shoulders.
Yeah.
I will take a swing at that. Why is it a sticking point?
Yeah.
It's a sticking point because in our society, we say men don't have emotions, but if anyone who's worked with women and men, I think men are allowed to act with emotion and not get called emotional, and women aren't. Because women are told that they're being emotional in a professional place because patriarchy. And so Lan is the text tells us that he's stony, but he's emotional all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just this weird mirror. I just read a scene where he had this total fit because Nynaeve was being a career woman, and wasn't telling him enough. And, whenever the ladies are doing Aes Sedai stuff, it just feels like this big metaphor for grad school. It's like, why didn't you tell me this thing about your paper you're writing? And now I'm throwing a fit. And anyway, I think this whole thing about like Lan is stony-faced samurai, I think is nonsense. And I like what the actor is bringing to Lan. I like that he's showing emotion. I think his character is all about duty, and he's got a very famous saying about that I'm sure will come up in the show. And his duty in that scene was to take on the grief so that everyone could move on. And that's what he did. And I loved it. Anyway, that's,
it's being selective on what defines emotional.
Right.
You're being very selective of how you're allowed to present that. And when an actor is putting it forward on the screen, there's always going to be some sort of distance between you and the character you're reading in a book. But when you're seeing a human being portray it's different.
Yeah.
And to Lauren's point, it is difficult. There is a balance, right, between whenever you're doing an adaptation. There's a balance between you're doing an adaptation of a work, so you want to present that work to some degree, and it's also a adaptation, so it's a new work, so you want to be able to show something new in that work. Yeah. I think it's difficult, and we've struggled with this for as long as geeks, on Non-Productive, for as long as geeks have won the monkey's paw wish of being the dominant culture in America. We keep fighting with this thing, like you got to do this, but not like that. You have to make it perfect. I see Natty has joined us, but is not on camera right now. So I'm going to bring him on whenever he gives me the thumbs up. If you could hear us right now, Natty, and I'm sure you have some opinions about this as well. To go back to the bullet points of this episode, there was a B story that I think was even more impressive than the morning and the White City. I really enjoy what was going on with the camp, the Tinkers, and the other party that gets basically taken by the White Cloaks. And that was, it's a scene that features a lot of torture, which I'm not a big fan of when it shows up in fiction, but impactful and powerful in a way that I did enjoy. Hi, Natty. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Oh, hi there. Am I here?
Yeah, you're here. You're on the show.
How do I get out of this chat? There I am. Hi. Sorry.
All right. So the White Cloaks, the entire scene with the White Cloaks capturing our heroes and torturing Perrin was interesting. And I don't know what I feel about it. I thought it was very impactful. It made me hate the White Cloaks, which I think is part of what I'm supposed to feel. But at the same time, like, what was the motivation of our lead questioner? Because he knew he did not have an actual worker there. He knew that she was not magical. She did not have powers, but still wanted to torture them for just a bit longer to see that maybe she could have powers. That seems like a really dark part of the story. How much of this am I supposed to be feeling?
I think for him, it's just an obsession, and just a general dislike for women. And that's that, and he doesn't care what he does to people in the process of stamping out that thing that he thinks is so vile and disgusting. That is magic.
Oh, I think women, because girls are gross.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, guys. We're all here together with that, right?
Absolutely,
I mean,
100%.
I don't want to sign off on that too much, but science says they are a vector for cooties, and so I can't dispute science. Can't dispute science.
Trust the CDC.
We don't believe in science in this house. I thought it was just that he was either
White Cloak.
I think he knew that they weren't Aes Sedai and water, but I think what you're saying, either he was gonna draw it out or he was gonna kill him anyway. Like, he didn't care. I think he just kind of gets off on the sadism of it all, right?
Yeah, I think so. All right, one of the things that, again, from world building, from like if this were a game, right? If this were a campaign and then we're building different things, it took me until this episode to realize, because the white cloaks really didn't signify anything other than, wow, you have a lot of effort you could put into keeping those cloaks white. They didn't really signify anything to me until I saw the questioner, whose character name I was actually looking for, and I can't find it right now, but if I find it, I'll say it. The lead questioner who's doing this, and it occurs to me, oh, is it what was it, Alda?
Valda.
Valda.
Child
Valda.
Valda.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, yes, he makes a point of saying that the power does not
Valda.
come from him. But in a world where magic is divvied up through gender, or that there are halves, people who can and people who can't, but especially one where it's based off gender, it makes perfect sense for there to be an army of men who are like, well, then magic is just evil. You can't have magic, and no matter what. So just not being part of this cult / White Tower / whatever political organization that the White Cloaks are against, not being part of that group was not enough. She has the ability to become something he can never reach. So she is the enemy. So that's why she has to be eliminated, or at least put into this ridiculous choice where her only way to survive is to allow her friend to die. It's interesting, but again, it's one of that building out the world, making it feel real. So it's not just a group of enemies that someone has described to me. It is, I now know basically what the White Cloaks are like. Cool.
And they're all children of the light. And I can't remember, are they I guess worship the one true God, right? Is that what they say?
Like the light. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was reading this as a child, I was like, oh, they're Christian. They're Christians. Like just really zealous Christians, and that's where I put them, and that's where they stayed, because it fits. Like really crazy. Yeah. But I think it was so much, just because they had to really give a reason why this guy is going to be around, later, just
he didn't die in that scene. I mean, she stabbed him.
I actually think he died.
Maybe.
I remember thinking that, but then I think Lauren's right. When you look at it, he's stabbed in the shoulder or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, he's wily.
One of those old tropes that happens in any kind of science fiction or superhero thing, where if you don't specifically see that person take their last breath, probably not dead.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, he went from focusing on her to focusing on Perrin, because he saw Perrin's eyes.
And you really got to see how he reacted to magic. Like when he saw he got shook.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
What are you?
I was deeply uncomfortable by that whole scene until Nynaeve sat Rand down and said, Egwene is unfucking breakable. Yeah. And I was like, let's get back to that fucking scene. Let's do it. Let's get right back there. Like they just like talked her up. I bought it. Like I bought that, Egwene was a kid who wouldn't break and broke this fever before it broke her. And because of that, she's going to get out of this. And I was like, I buy it. Let's do it. Let's get back to that scene that I was uncomfortable with and see Egwene be unbreakable. And I liked that a lot. I loved that setup. I loved the way that it went from the B plot, prepped up the C plot so that it could go. And that was super cool. I loved the story. I loved the delivery. And when you see Egwene take that turn, I was in. I loved that little setup, that little set and spike there. It was nice.
The show does good things with having to deal with the crutches of the genre. It's you need lots of exposition, right? You need to explain to the people who are watching this that do not live in this magical world what's going on in the magical world. But what a wonderful way of playing with exposition. A story about a main character breaking a fever to set up the fact that we're all dealing with this Game of Thrones trauma in our head. There's a torture scene. Does this ever pay off, or is this just going to be torture? Right? And no, stay tuned. It's going to pay off. You're going to enjoy it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And knowing her story, where she ends up, I like this setup, because
where
in the books,
where she potentially ends up.
Exactly.
Yes, depending on how this works.
But if that goes that direction, I believe it. I believe it more, because in the books, I guess I passed by too much, and it was just like, oh, okay, why is she in this position? But with her being set up this way, so strong, so early, I can see it. I can see it becoming a thing.
There's
who knows?
A lot of advantage of being able to write the scripts for this show after 14 books have already been published.
Knowing what's going to happen,
right?
Yeah.
You know, hats off to, what are they, D&D, the guys who made Game of Thrones when the books are still coming off the presses, and they're like, we paced it. What are we gonna do? We'll just figure it out. But yeah, there's a lot of advantages to knowing and being able to plant those seeds, right? Perrin's a werewolf, I assume, a werewolf lord, something. He could control werewolves. That's this world. I don't know. Something. It's really cool. I'm for it. But yeah, as the scene played out, I do like that neither of them was robbed of their agency as much as you can not be robbed of your agency when you're tied down and tortured. Both contributed to the escape, and yeah, it was overall well done in my opinion.
I think when I came in is when you guys were talking about how kind of unsettling the scene was. Like it was like it was really, I've never seen anything like that necessarily. Like he was filleting him, and I was just like, this is really uncomfortable to watch and painful. Like it was very visceral, and I'm with you. I didn't love that.
And before that, just them washing her.
Yeah.
It wasn't
was
lustful.
worse.
They weren't leering. It was like, she is unclean, and it's
such
like
a violation. Yeah.
I found the washing. Yeah, I found the scrubbing more upsetting than the cutting. So there's something about it that was just so impersonal. It was just like she wasn't a person anymore.
Yeah.
To them, and they were scrubbing her like a pan. It was just real. Like I had to stop watching. It was deeply upsetting. There was a payoff, and I liked the payoff, but it was tough. That was tough to watch. Definitely. But here's to, watching in a fantasy show, a Black woman assure someone that a brown woman is strong and can make it through anything and be right. And just like, that's pretty awesome. I'm not saying the show isn't without its issues. It is. But that was cool. That was a cool moment. I'll take it. I'll take it where I can effing get it at this point.
Yeah.
and
really.
And that was a cool moment.
I'm bouncing all over the place, and please feel free if anybody wants to take it somewhere else. More power to you. There was a line that was, I believe it was, I'm going to get names because I'm terrible at them. It's Moraine to Nynaeve, who was saying, she was saying you were going to be trying to guide her through this transformation she's experiencing, trying to be helpful. But so far, and this is a little bit of a slight aside, a problem I've had with the white city is that it's a lot of say, not show. They've told us about how horrible it could be behind the scenes, but I haven't really seen it yet. But
Sweet.
again, everyone is hopefully they're actually going to show us something about what's so terrifying about
In
it.
about 7 years, you're going to be like, whoa,
Whoa, man.
That was a payoff.
whoa.
Yeah, and her line
couple
though,
seasons.
maybe in trying to guide this person who does not 100% and probably doesn't even 12% trust her, is you feel small compared to the source and great compared to those you loved. It's a way of describing magic, and it was so poetic. You felt that she knew what the other character was going through, and something about loved in past tense. For you would feel small compared to those you loved, and I'm like, oh god, this is going to be a lot of hard decisions for everyone. Everyone's going to have to make a hard decision, and I love that. I love it when characters have to make bad choices or rough choices and still move forward. So this is one of those little elements that makes the show really pop for me. The last 2 episodes especially.
And at least for that, you know, in her village, she's the wisdom. She's the head honcho. You know, she's the one who had the final say, at least in the women's circle. You know, and she's going to a place where she's going to be at the bottom of it for a while. Surrounded by people who are very much older than her, who have very much more experience. So that's going to be a big change for her.
So Frank, it's like when you do well in the New Jersey comedy scene, you see, and then you go across the river to this place called Manhattan, and they say, what do you mean you headline? Here you're going to clean the glasses and the toilet. And you're like, this is my dream. I love it. Here we go.
I don't know. I filled up a back room in Montclair, New Jersey, and it was okay. I think I could do Caroline's. Yeah.
No. Sorry.
No. Yeah. That was exactly that.
You killed them in Wall. Yeah.
That's right. Brick loves me.
Brick. Oh my goodness.
All these New Jersey references are going good.
So many mullets. So many mullets.
Yeah.
Brick Township. Holy cow.
I loved ogres. I didn't realize there'd be ogres on this show.
Ogiers.
Ogier. Trollops. Ogiers. Oh, I am not a big fan of our elves work differently here, but fine, close enough. I did enjoy the character. I like.
You liked Loyal Lord Dump?
Yeah, I think he was a helpful, fun way of giving information, giving us a little bit of fantasy, or else it's just people voguing magic at each other. You gotta introduce some fantasy creatures and characters, and is this
I needed to be taller.
Really?
Well, yeah. They don't
budget.
have the Lord of the Rings budget.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll get better.
How much of this stuff is in this world? How much fantasy? How much more fantasy should we expect? Are there?
Just
creatures?
wait, my friend.
There's a little bit of fantasy.
I think the first
there's the Ogier, and then there's the Elves, and then there's the Aurochs. No, I'm just mispronouncing fantasy words.
That was very good.
You got me.
I was going through my brain. I was like, what am I forgetting? Oh my goodness.
Oh, the Elves. I forgot about the Elves.
There's the Yents, which are Yiddish Ents.
Oh yeah, they try to set you up with a wife,
Yeah.
So
Yiddish,
I don't know if we've mentioned this, but before they met the Ogier, do we know that there's a character that's following them around? Have we noticed that?
So there's an Easter egg in Tarvalon. You see, you see a hand. Yeah.
Oh, you see more than a hand.
Well,
in this, I mean, it's like a second. But before they go into the inn where say Loyal.
I said Lol.
Lol.
But
I'm gonna go with Lol just because
it's easier.
2 syllables is a lot of syllables. But I think but you hear if you can go back and watch, there's a whistling. So a song is being whistled. And it ties into a song that maybe we heard back in the Two Rivers. And if you look and see, you see a character that has now been in, I want to say 3 or 4 episodes. He's not one
Really?
of the main characters. And then you see the hand as he dips into the alleyway. So it's exciting stuff, because in my brain I was trying to figure out, I was like, where is this character? And he's there the whole time. I just didn't realize it.
I don't recognize, like, I didn't see him in the other episodes. I saw him this one. I'm like, oh, there he is. But
So my understanding is,
besides the first,
Shadara Logoth or whatever, the shadow running away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll just have to watch it again.
That's interesting. I don't think I'm going to rewatch these. I don't know if I want this spoiled for me instead.
I think we'll keep going and see if there's a payoff.
All right. That sounds.
Judd, do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I do. And I saw that character more than a hand. I mean, I think there's a scene where they're in the background and you can kind of see them pretty clearly during the false dragon being paraded through.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's right. He's in there twice. Yeah, I forgot about that part. Yep.
Yeah. So.
And he I think he laughs, or at least smiles or something.
Yep.
I missed that.
Yep.
I was focusing on how red the turnips were, the radishes were, when they were being thrown at the dragon. It's weird.
There's always a question.
Like, man, those are ripe.
Yeah, like why? Who's been storing up all this vegetable matter just in case someone is paraded through town, or if some local comedian comes out of brick and just fails miserably, whack them with a rotten tomato. Where do they come from? I think the last real big thing for me in this episode was that Matt's fear of being a Chandler and and his fate was palpable.
Yeah.
Again, great performance. Helps you realize this is a world where, magic exists, but it has a lot of its mere existence creates a social dynamic everyone's kind of prisoner to, right? If you're a man, you either just have to understand that it's not for you. You have to live in fear of it, live in fear of this insanity that comes with it. Can you even know if you had it to act appropriately, seek help? You wouldn't know because you would be crazy. So it's like a horrible catch-22. Just all this. It was a wonderful little bit of breaking the fantasy of living in this world. I don't know if I would want to. If I were a guy living in this world, certainly.
You'd be afraid, always.
Yeah, always, constantly afraid, regardless of how this shakes out in their version of the story. If this is the culture you were raised in, saying if you are male and you have this power, it will corrupt you, either whether it's a cultural thing or some sort of magical thing or whatever. It's pervasive and horrible to the point where Matt's not even sleeping at night, or obviously the haunted dagger could probably not help, but a lot of fun.
Also, what stuck out to me was what Leandrin said, was that even though the women do magic, it's still a man's world. Because it is still, it just has that little oomph for women, but there's still men who burn women at the stake, and so it's just a scary place to be all around. They have folklore and tales of creatures that were around thousands of years ago that may or may not be around, and then they have things that are stuff of nightmares that are still around. It's just, and then you have the magic, and then you have crazy people. It's a scary place when you think about it.
That's interesting is, now that I think about it, when they were in Two Rivers and all these creatures are coming and attacking people, like Trollocs are supposed to be kind of like things of legend, right? Like they're not supposed to be like.
There was the Trolloc War not too long ago.
Oh, okay. So
they're just not in the Two Rivers. Two Rivers hasn't seen them.
So I guess the equivalent would be like hordes of wolves coming to attack us in a town in New Jersey, which would be like, okay, yeah, I know wolves are real, but this wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, why is this pig wolf attacking me? Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
this bear wolf. I think there was a nice little nod to the books too, where Matt and Rand are on this kind of little cliff and they look out at Tarvalon, and Rand says, like, that mountain, like I recognize it or something, or I feel like I've seen it before or something like that. And I was just like, oh, I know what mountain that is.
Yeah, I said that too. Yeah.
That's
like, oh yeah,
I forgot about that.
I really
entirely.
wish that they had a map, like at the beginning of Game of Thrones, whereas there's the map and it's like, okay, this is there. I wish that they had that. If they can change it a little time,
I'm so glad
through.
You brought that up, because I was waiting for like a way to bring up.
I need that. Yeah.
This
and the books have a map.
cattiness.
Yes.
The opening. This show is a skip intro for me. All respect to the people who went about and made the opening theme and the graphics for it, but I'm like, I don't need this. This is not.
I like it.
Yeah, you do.
It's the weaving. I think because they don't talk about the weaving as much as they do in the books. Like it
what is it like? The wheel weaves as the wheel will, or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when they do magic, it's weaving. It plays a big part. I just wish that they would have weaved a map.
There's also a huge moment in this that differentiates it from the book in a really important way, and that's one scene where the words come on the screen 1 month later, and I was like, "Oh,
that's a big difference."
God.
Yeah,
I just
literally,
I spoke to the screen at that point. I said, "Thank."
Yeah.
God. And everyone says, like, and they reinforce it a couple times. I haven't seen her for a month. It's a month without a warm bed.
Yeah, that was refreshing.
Yeah. And they look so much more lived in their characters.
Yeah.
Like Rand's hair is actually, like, I was just like, oh, this looks better to me. Like it un-CW'd them. Like I was just like, okay, this is much more what I would like.
Yeah, that's very useful. Because they're walking. It makes sense. It's not like Game of Thrones where they just randomly show up at a place.
Eventually, in later seasons, they were like, "Hey, we made it through half the but it was exhausting walking for the first few seasons." Yeah, skipping time is great. I think the weaving thing probably is one of the few drawbacks. We've talked a lot about the benefits of being able to be on screen, but one of the few drawbacks of not being on the page is on the page you could describe magic as weaving, and then it makes sense, but on screen it would be hard to do without doing the Vogue thing, which is like, I'm pretending that I'm weaving. Please someone capture all the video I've performed on what magic should look like, and then also capture all of Natty Bumpercar's backgrounds, because if you piece them all together across the episodes, he's giving you a secret message.
There's a hint.
Yes, it's a clue as to what's going on.
These paws over here are
minus 42. The real reason people are afraid to go to Camden is all the wolves. You're right. That is correct. That is all the wolves that attack random towns and comedians. But nobody wants to go to Camden for that.
Can you throw rotten fruit and vegetables at wolves? Would that do anything?
I think it would just make them more hungry for flesh. Because it's not good for fruit if you give them fresh fruit. Maybe.
And having grown up in New Jersey, I believe it's against New Jersey law too. I am not legal counsel. You cannot, don't quote me on that in court or anything. But
so throw what you will and leave it upon yourself. There's a lot of there was I'm glad you brought up Rand's hair and his location. So now, without knowing anything, I'm the only person on the podcast that has not read any of the books. Clearly, Rand has some sort of magical destiny or origin. He's from the redheaded folks, the legendary redheaded folks from, I assume, a mountain region somewhere, because like that is the most heavy-handed thing that I have seen so far in this. It's like, and even the oak hair went out to say, like, which is like an au pair for ogres. I'm not sure what I'm pronouncing here, but yeah, he was like, "Oh, you must be one of the such and such people," and I'm like, "Oh, really? Is that how we're gonna find out that this nondescript redheaded guy is gonna be like the lead cool guy in the Magic universe?" I feel like that's what's coming. You don't have to confirm or deny, but I feel like
I'm
we're
just gonna
find out.
say they're not from the mountains.
Are they from some Ireland equivalent? No? Okay.
That would be hilarious. But yes,
Yeah.
just keep thinking that.
All right.
Keep thinking that. Yeah.
Okay, good. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep thinking wrong things.
I
Yeah.
would love it
It's
if this
great.
never pays off. If that ogre was just like, "Oh, I thought all
it
red-headed humans come from one
pays.
area."
It pays. And if if I was writing my media studies paper about race politics in the Wheel of Time, the red-haired folks, they'd have a chapter. They'd have a chapter.
Right.
And I can't wait to hear what you think. I guess is all I'll say. Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm very curious. I'm in. I'm gonna have to watch all 20 seasons of this show until we get to it. Probably.
Yeah.
Yes. I appreciated that the ogre kept speaking and everyone stopped listening to him, because that was very much
That was in the
part of the
books,
book. Yeah. It was great. I loved it.
Yep. I loved his speech pattern was the
Yeah.
slowness and the you humans are
Yes.
He was
always
very much like a
flipping
Yent.
around.
Yes.
Yes.
Or the traditional version of the Yent. Right.
Yes. The more widely known.
So
Where are you
dumb.
going, Frank? Where did you just censor? Good
You know,
job.
I was actually trying to think of the Yiddish word for. I would think it was Gentile version of the Yent, which is otherwise known as the Ent. I couldn't piece this together in time, and we did this a full hour earlier, and I'm not any more awake. The Gentile version of a Yent is an Ent. That's the way we should change it. In someone edit Wikipedia right now. Create an entry, then edit the entry. But yes, this is a lot to digest in this episode. But overall, I did think I enjoyed it. Natty, what did you think of this episode? You missed the beginning when we gave our opening thoughts.
I enjoyed it because I felt like it was in some ways a quieter episode, because last episode was kind of more bombastic, and this one, you were talking about the way that this show is going to work isn't by all the fantasy and stuff. Really, it's going to be the character-driven moments, and I think I said somewhere, but I like how they bookended it, funeral and then funeral. I thought that was well built structure for a show.
Nice.
And
Great. I didn't even realize it. Yeah.
Yep. And visually, like, I feel like there was in the beginning, there was a sky shot where it kind of, the camera pulled up and it showed you the circle of graves, and like I thought that was visually a nice thing. And I thought Tarvalon was executed visually just like wonderfully. All the filigree and all the detail in the columns and everything. And that's something that's really pushed out in the book too. I don't think it's any kind of spoiler, but I'm pretty positive that the Ogier actually built Tarvalon and some of the great cities of the world. And I always read it as they almost speak to the stone or something, or like how they do it. It's not like they're just
it's more
artisans.
natural.
Yeah, like they kind of whoa, like whatever that is. What is that? Oh man, what movie am I thinking
Dark
of?
Crystal.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of. Thank you.
I know. So obvious.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I'm curious. So, in 5 seconds each, whatever. Because I know that Ms. Lawler said you had some opinions.
I it grew on me. The one thing that stopped me from liking it initially was the fact that they went straight to Tar Valon.
Mhm.
There was a huge city that they missed, and that made me sad because I really wanted to see it. I was really looking forward to it, but the same things happened. The dragon passed through, and it's like, okay, so I understand a little bit why they wouldn't show this city. And an Easter egg, little Easter egg, whatever you call it, Easter egg, whatever.
Yeah, it's Easter egg.
Yeah, little egg is that they're talking about the Amerlin seat coming from Camelin, and I'm like, oh, she was there in the city where they should have been. Funny.
Oh, okay.
So that made me feel a little bit better that she was still there, because
And that's when Nynaeve said something like, "I don't care about your Amelin seed."
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
You could blame
that
people like
was-
me for not spending time in the city because I didn't know there was anything that they were missing. So as a noob viewer, I would have been like, "Why aren't you just going to the tower? You've been talking
Yeah.
about this tower for like 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Go to the
I
tower."
mean, it's
So blame jerks like me.
fine. It's
Mhm.
fine. I understand it. I'm sure they will go back to it.
They have
Maybe.
kind of have to.
Yeah,
I
you
would
kind of
think.
have to.
It's kind of
They
they might
Unless
only
they're
have
changing
budget
everything.
for one major great city
One big city.
per
Yeah.
season or something.
Yeah, so we'll see. So that was my one big reservation about it. I did like the funerals. I liked that the funeral in the beginning had the female singing this like very crazy, wild, ethereal song, and then the end it was the throat singing because it was the male,
Yeah.
So you had the Aes Sedai funeral and then the Warder funeral. Similar yet different. That was
Yeah, it's a nice. I didn't even see that juxtaposition. Yeah,
buried in the earth versus entombed in a bunch of rock. Yeah, there's a lot of deeply gendered treatment of the dead, as far as we know from this one episode. Right.
I did love the scene with the ring.
Yeah, we talked about that. That was really
cool. That was
which was a continuation of the funerals in many ways. Judd, you were saying something?
Yeah, there's a scene where Moraine is in her room and it's pretty barren. There's nothing in it, and her friend says, "If you don't, let your secrets out, you'll be left as barren as this room." And she walks out, and I just want to say that like her friend knew not to like wear shoes in bed, but Moraine is a savage. She's wearing shoes in bed. What are you doing? Take your shoes off.
Right.
Anyway, her friend.
Her shoes are her home, man.
Her saddle is her home.
Yeah,
I thought the saddle was her home.
Take your shoes off in bed. Your friend knows better. She had her boots, and anyway,
she can just magic the dirt out.
Whatever. And she's
not going to be around long enough.
She opens a little thing over the fireplace, and like there's a picture that I was like, it's a young woman looking out a window. I didn't quite get it, but I was like, that's a setup for something, and I don't know what.
I love whenever I'm like, I don't understand this, but I don't understand 90% of what I'm looking at. So maybe this is a reference that other people will get. Yeah, I thought it was a portrait of her in that moment, like it was like Spaceballs when they're watching the video of themselves.
I thought it was one of those weird like infinity things where like she opened it because like the way it was shot, it was her window. Painting woman window, and I was like, wait, is this one of the? But so the way that it was edited was Lan is with the other warder, and they're having drinks and whatever, and then Moraine goes to this window and opens it, I feel like, and then when Lan wakes up and he's like, oh, and he starts running, and the way they opened it, I was just like, oh, is that water gonna kill her? Like, I don't know, something about how terrified Lan was and how her opening that thing made me think
it was an odd cut.
Yeah, like I was just like, oh, is she in danger? Is that why Lan is freaking out? Like, maybe is she feeling something by looking in this window thing, like that's getting him amped up? And but then
let's put a flag in this. Let's remember whether this
I
pays
missed
off.
that completely.
I'm really surprised that one of the three of you didn't just explain to me what that thing in her room was.
I didn't see that at all.
I've never felt more like I guess my dad when I describe Dungeons and Dragons stuff. He's like, "What? It's just something. Everything is something." Or like a Marvel movie. It's like, "Yeah, everybody's somebody." We know. So I'm watching this, going, "Yeah, it's probably something. They're going to tell me what it is." But I did notice it. Yeah, I absolutely noticed that very weird thing on her mantle. It looked like a little picture of something that was maybe her.
There's a whole Reddit thread about it on the WOT subreddit, and I'm looking through it, and I'm not seeing anything great.
I know,
but yeah.
In the very beginning, when she was getting ready, there was a little statue. That's important.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
right.
I don't
I remember
remember
that. I remember this. I remember the statue. And I remember being like, "Oh, I did
Yeah. And her little. Did she wear her little pendant? I don't remember.
I don't
if we've
remember
seen
that.
I don't
that
remember
yet.
seeing
This is
it.
killing me because like you're all talking about this thing, but also the weird thing on her mantelpiece is like, oh, that I don't know if that's anything. Like,
Yeah,
why is
that's
one thing nothing and the other thing is something?
I mean, I think it's interesting that it's like you have a lot of secrets. I mean, just taking it at face value for what we can see, you have a lot of secrets and you need to let them out. And she's like, "Yeah, thanks, best friend." And she lets her out, and then she like opens a secret compartment where there's a picture that she gazes at, and it's like, yeah, she's not letting go of secrets anytime soon. Like,
Right,
I mean,
right.
I think that's the character thing to take away from is like, she's just gonna bathe in the secrets. Like, that's just this,
And
which
that's her.
scans. Yeah, that scans. Yeah,
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah,
So
it feels like
next,
she's playing her own game in the midst of everything else.
right.
Like she's by herself, and everyone else is like, "What game are you playing?" And she's like, "I'm not playing a game. What are you talking about?"
Right. A little bit reminiscent of James Clavell's Shogun, where there's that one character and they're like, "You should become Shogun." He's like, "I don't want to become Shogun." And he says that the whole book. And then in the epilogue, they're like, "And in the year 1311, he became Shogun." So yeah, it's interesting. I like Moraine. I think that, yeah, it's cool. I'm into it. I think I like I'd like to see more of the Tar-Valon politics, and I like how close Moraine is playing it to the vest. I think it's neat.
So what's it called? Because she's from a place where they play. Is it the Game of Houses?
Yep, Game of Houses. Yeah.
Game of Houses. So like, there's a lot of intrigue and all that. That's what she grew up in. And then Tar-Valon is also a lot of intrigue and all that. So like, Tar-Valon intrigue is like here, and she's playing like up here.
Right.
So I can't wait to see that, and I hope that they bring that in. I mean, they're kind of doing that with her. You know, they're talking about her secrets and all that, but there's so much more to it, and I need to see that because reading it, I was young, and I'm like, okay, like this is stupid.
Yeah, a lot of stuff went over your
older, I'm
head.
like, ooh, this is going to be great. I need that.
Can they use the term Game of Houses in a post Game of Thrones world? Or is everyone just going to be like, "Oh, these guys are ripping off Game of Thrones so hard"? Like, is it like that?
Or it's the Game of Houses and you don't talk about the Game of Houses because you don't talk about Game of Houses.
The first rule is don't.
Yeah, we're just making soap over here.
And the second rule is if you lose, you die. I don't know.
You have to say it out loud so that everybody else playing also screw.
You have to say it 3 times.
That's right.
And then it appears.
For that one. But I do believe I would do it. I would say it. And then if anybody complains about it, you just look up the receipts. You've got the receipts. You did it first.
Right.
So next episode is entitled "The Flame of Tar-Valon."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to find out what the hell that means because I don't know. And I actually do have the trailer for the next episode. Are we okay with watching the trailer?
Oh yeah,
trailer.
I didn't know there was a trailer.
I just watched it. But I will watch it again.
All right, so like watch right now. We'll be back just to say our goodbyes afterwards and give our thoughts about the trailer because that's the kind of world we're living in now.
Attend you all. She comes, the Amelin seat. I know what I said I do to men like me.
Bring the false dragon.
You know what they say about you? That you are weak.
I'm worried about him.
I'd save you.
You're right. The dragon will either defeat the Dark One or join him. Whatever it is you're up to, you should accomplish it quickly. There's no turning back.
I love it. I'm into it. I
didn't have sound.
I did not know that maybe I wanted to be surprised.
Love it.
Yeah.
I didn't have sound, but there was a lot there that I saw that I'm very excited about.
Oh, too bad you didn't have sound, but it's available on the internets and on this thing as soon as it goes up. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. Tomorrow will be no, not tomorrow. Friday will be a fun day for me.
Seems like the painting is going to make another appearance.
Mhm.
Hooray! Yes.
Seems like Loyal's what's it? Place to stay comes back. There, wherever Rand and Matt are staying, there was a shot of
The inn.
Yeah, of the inn where Moraine was standing on the little balcony.
Yeah, Perrin and Egwene look like they are. There's a lot of sexy times everywhere. I'm not sure if there's anything between the two of them, but it's kind of cute. So I like it. I like it when characters have feelings for each other and want each other to stay safe. And
I saw Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru's house burnt down. That was really upsetting. I was like, why do we have to bring?
Yeah.
Wait, what? That wasn't.
That was a different thing.
Oh, jeez. It went by so fast without sound. I got confused.
Indeed. So yes, we are excited. I think we'll probably be meeting up next week again to talk about episode 6. We should end these things with things to plug. If we've got anybody have anything to plug, anything they want to talk about?
I have a threadless shop and I just made 2 t-shirts that are, I'm trying to get to the site so I can plug it. If you go to shopofjudd.threadless.com, I have one t-shirt that says I'm a false dragon in the font of the Dragon Reborn book. And then I've got an Ouroboros because I wanted one that was nice and simple and I couldn't find one that I liked. So I made one and I didn't know what to do with it. So I threw a t-shirt on it. And anyway, there it is in the chat. That's the private chat. That's not going to help, but maybe someone could throw it in the chat. Yeah, and all of the proceeds go to cool organizations that Threadless allows me to do. So the I'm a False Dragon goes to the National Queer and Trans Therapists of Color Network, and the Ouroboros, if you're feeling a little bit more AS Sedai, goes to Fair Fight. Nice. So it's cool.
Very nice.
And tons of other nerdy shirts there. So check it out. Or stickers or shower curtains or you can make blankets, whatever it is you want. You can make stuff. I mean, whatever.
Love it.
That's my thing.
Anything else? Any pets that you want to plug right now? Anybody want to promote a pet?
I want to plug Popcorn.
Popcorn.
I gotta get mine.
It's right here. She doesn't want to be on camera, but she's fighting it.
Waiting for her podcast to drop. She doesn't want to be spoiled too soon, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
The Bumper Podcast is having a meeting tomorrow with Verbal, which is a podcast platform to become one of their influencers or something. I don't know what it is.
Nice. I think.
I was like, they were like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, okay, have you listened to my podcast? What's it about? I don't know. I've only been doing it for 12 years.
We'll find out eventually.
Eventually, yes. There will be a payoff.
Hooray.
Season 15.
When it all ties together, it's going to be mwah. It's all about that painting behind.
Chef's kiss.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And Laura, I know for a fact that your pet has appeared because every once in a while I'm like, pet, what is that? Is it a cat? Is it a small dog? There it is.
It's a dog.
There it is.
Yeah. Two dogs. And
one of them is wearing a sweater?
Yeah. She has a bump on her, so we have to put a sweater on her. And it says, I ate all of Santa's cookies. And She looks pretty.
Great.
Yeah, there she's
you can
going.
see.
Oh, and here's the other one. Hold on. Oh, fine. Don't come and sit by me.
Laura,
Yep.
are those your paintings behind you?
They are.
They're
They
great.
are.
They're amazing.
We
Oh,
Hi.
There's one.
Oh,
hi, puppy.
good ears.
Hi, buddy.
So we did a paint night, and my boyfriend was like, "It's a paint your own dog one." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." And we went, and everyone was painting a little white floofy dog with like a Christmas background, and he's like, "I thought it was paint your own dog," and so we were sitting there like with our phone trying to paint our dogs, and everyone else
Everybody
was painting a
somebody
little
else's
floofy dog. So we got this. Hold on. Where's my little Hobbit one? Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty
I like 'em.
spectacular.
And I like that it was equal representation. Both.
Yeah.
Of course.
The instructor tried helping us. It turned into that.
No,
So-
they did a good job, and you did a good
Yeah.
job. It's great.
Those are
Thank you.
I like
wonderful.
it.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, my new pet is upstairs, scaring my wife away from the couch because that's the life I'm living right now. And
That's your baby. Is that your baby?
my baby is fine. My baby's asleep.
Okay.
But
I thought your baby was scaring your wife away from the couch. And I was
no,
like,
no, she's on good terms with the baby. The cat, she's not quite 100%.
Oh, it's a cat.
Mm.
Yeah, the cat is upstairs, calm as you can imagine any pet being, but just not just dominating the couch. So we'll work on it, and then we'll do this more often.
It's their couch.
Yeah, it is now.
You just have to live with
It's their-
that.
It's their world. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically it. All right. Good night, everyone. This was fun, and I cannot wait for Friday where we get to watch The Flame of Tarval. That's not it.
Tarvalon.
Tarvalon.
Yeah,
Tarvalon.
Tarvalon. All right, hooray!
Tarvalon.
I have never felt
Tarvalon.
cooler than doing this show because I don't know
Flame.
all the actual words. And I'm
Tarvalon. Old year. Whoa.
yeah, basically, you know.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.